that I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God. You know, what does that mean? I mean, is God a jealous God?
Yeah,
He says it. It's true. Now, what does it mean? You know, when we think of the word jealous, we think of a husband or a wife, a boyfriend or a girlfriend that is so insecure in their relationship with their mate or their loved one that they're always afraid that that person is doing something to deceive them. They've got another boyfriend or another girlfriend, and they're sneaking around. And where were you? You went to the 7-Eleven, and it took 11 minutes, and it normally takes you 10 minutes. I know you met with somebody behind the 7, you know. Now, that kind of jealousy, of course, would be very difficult to live with. Would be very horrible thing, and that's not. But you know, the word jealous, it also can have a positive aspect. You know, for instance, if you were a husband and someone was making advances at your wife, I mean, you would stand up and say, hey, buddy, what are you doing? You know, that's my wife. You can't, you know, make advances on her like that. The word jealous in the Hebrew, it's the same word as zealous. And in the Greek also, it means like, you know, that you're passionate. You're on fire. And God loves us with a strong, fiery love. And He doesn't want us bowing down to graven images. And of course, you know, that can be not just an idol made of stone, but we can make all sorts of things into idol. You know, including high-tech equipment. You know, a lot of our modern things, we can make idols out of them. Colossians, Paul says in Colossians, covetousness, which is like idolatry. You know, when we covet something, we want something so bad. We've got to have it, you know. We just, it takes, it's like God. That's my goal in life. I got to have one of those new iPhone 4G. Now, I got to have that 69-inch television on the wall with high definition, whatever. You know, it's like, and you know, there's some groups when they teach faith. They say, you know, like, okay, you take a picture of that Mercedes-Benz and you put it up on the wall, and every morning you not pray to it, but you pray to God and you confess that Mercedes is mine. And that night you go to bed, you look at that picture and that Mercedes is mine. And, you know, so then the other group rebukes you because you don't have a Rolls Royce up there. Mercedes is just a junk car, you know. So, but, you know, you can make anything an idol and bow down. Maybe you don't bow your knees to it, but you bow your soul to it. So, now, you know, a lot of y'all heard of Oprah Winfrey, who's named after a person in the Bible. She's named after a person in the Bible named Orpah, but her mother was dyslexic and got the word changed around. That's a true story. Oprah. And then she was brought up in a Christian church. You know, she was, I don't know if she was born again, but she was following along, going to Christian church and so forth. And the preacher got up and read this verse. The Lord your God is a jealous God. And she said, God is jealous? God is so insecure that He can't be confident that I'm following Him and He's scared I'm going to run off with somebody else and some other god, and that's not the kind of God I want to worship, some scaredy cat, jealous God. So she started looking other directions. Now there's an example where, see, Satan was able to take her misinterpretation, and she had a place in her soul that was open to error, and he put that lie in there and took her away into all sorts of crazy things. Yeah. She's got her own religion now and is influencing many. So he says here in 20 verse 5 of Exodus, he said, I'm a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. Now again, what does that mean? You know, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children. We normally, I think we look at that and we say, you know, the fathers committed some kind of sin and we're being punished for it. We're reaping the results of that. And and people have looked at this verse and said, that's not fair. God shouldn't punish somebody 2 or 3, you know, generations down the road that didn't do anything wrong. That's not fair. And then others, you know, here visiting the iniquities, he says, of the fathers upon the children. And so a lot of times today you're hearing a lot of things of repenting for what our forefathers did, or you're hearing a lot of, you know, apologies and stuff like this for what the forefathers did. And so, you know, a lot of people, when it comes to these things of like condemnation we were talking about, when something bad happens, they immediately start thinking this is something that granddaddy did or great-granddaddy did. And I'm being visited with this iniquity. And again, many people thinking, well, that's not right or fair. How could God do something like that?